Yo, what is going on? It's your boy Noobs here with a brand new video for you guys today, and welcome to the channel. Hope you all feel good, smelling good, as we got a fresh video for you guys today. This time, talk about Forspoken again. We talked about Forspoken back when I finished the Let's Play. We do have a Let's Play of that if you want to check it out. I'll have the Let's Play attached at the end of this video. Usually when I finish my Let's Plays, I do a review either in the Let's Play itself for the last episode, or I'll do like a video right after to do a review. But during the Steam little autumn sale or Black Friday sale, they had Forspoken's DLC bundled with the game on sale with $10. The DLC itself is $12. I was like, all right, well, it'd be cheaper for me to just buy the bundle and just buy DLC outright, even though I already own the game. So basically, I bought the game twice, but it was for the freaking. It was just to get like a $2 on the DLC. So I tried the DLC and Tanta We Trust. And the theme of this DLC is essentially that you go back in time to experience, it's like a prelude to the events of the main game. Now, it does take place after the main game itself when it comes to like when the initial mission starts off. So this is something that you would have to play after you beat the game itself, because it will have spoilers in it, not really like massive spoilers, but more so just some minor dialogue things when it comes to the interaction between Frey and Tanta. But generally what the goal here is when it comes to this DLC is to not just give you the player, information on, what the world was like before the break, but also how the cuff itself was created, and what could be coming after that. The weird thing about this DLC is that it does end with a cliffhanger, as if it's going to get a sequel game, which is not, unfortunately. Said before, I don't mind Forspoken. I think it's a solid game that had a rough launch because every PlayStation game that gets ported to PC has an awful launch and is poorly optimized. But what you really notice in this DLC is that this game probably would have been better if it was open world. Like, that's the first thing, because this DLC is downsized. You're confined to one location. There's a little bit of open world to it that you can go do some stuff on, but it's like a linear open world where it's like, other than these couple, side items to go grab, you're just in one location going through a linear path. And it's not to say this game would better feels linear. It's just to say that when video games are, being massively bloated, it hurts the games themselves. A lot of games that come out nowadays will be better games that weren't so bloated. Think about the recent Ghost Recon games. Think about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, this game, and a few other open world games. They just will feel like they would be better games if they weren't open world or as massive as they are, and just wasn't filled to the brim with just wasted time content, which a lot of these games are, including this game. This game, not this DLC, but the original game itself, has a lot of content in it where it's like, you don't really need all this. You can just have a little bit of this, like half of it, and then just have the main story and some side quests. But generally, when it comes to this DLC, it's actually a pretty solid DLC. Again, if you like the original game, you would like the DLC. I like the original game, so obviously the DLC will be something that interests me. But what you notice is one of them DLCs where it's like, hey, if this is part of the real game, or part of the original game, this will be a better, piece of that content, so being DLC. That's kind of how I feel with Assassin's Creed 3's DLCs, where it's like, if the Tyranny King George, if not necessarily the DLC itself, but if it didn't engage him the way he is in Tyranny King George is how he was in the main game, it would have been a better overall game. And the same things here when it comes to Frey. Frey and the DLC is more palatable. I don't mind her in general. I think, I understand what they were going for. They go for like this angsty, kind of teen personality. And I kind of feel like a lot of these developers don't know how young adults act, so they kind of just assume that, hey, young adults are using all these weird catchphrases and cursing a lot, and that's kind of what they do with Frey. She uses all these weird catchphrases and she curses a lot. I curse a lot. I'm not a young adult, but I curse a lot. Most people curse a lot, so it's not like it's too off-putting. That's why I'm okay with it. I have my own opinion on why people don't like Frey, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. But generally, when it comes to like her dialogue, they dumbed it down a little bit. They dumbed down how often she's using like those weird catchphrases, or what people would deem as like cringy dialogue. The back and forth between her and the cuff is still a thing, but it's more so because, again, this game acts as if you already played the main game, and it's trying to play off that thought process of, spoiler alert, you have the villain on your arm, and the villain is insulting you, not to be sarcastic, because he actually does hate your guts, and that's why he's assaulting you. But when it comes to her profanity, she still cusses a lot. But again, I don't think it's a big deal. I think some people feel like women who are cursing is off-putting. That's weird. That's a weird thought to me. But I have seen people say that in comment sections, not of this game, but just in general, of saying like they don't like women who curse a lot. I don't know. That's weird to me. That's a weird complaint. But again, let's go stay on topic. This is a video that's not scripted. Maybe it should be scripted. The story is more focused. We can go with that for the same. That's what the DLC story. It is a way more focused DLC. It's just you and Tanta, and you're just playing through one area. Like there's not a lot going on. It's not really a side quest. It's like 3 hours in length when it comes to like the DLC's length. Maybe if even that, like maybe even less than that, depending on how fast you're pacing yourself. I played it on hard, and it took me about 3 hours, I would say. You know, so it's fine. Like I think that this game has very fun gameplay. I think I love the movement of the traverse system of it. You know, it did kind of suck at the beginning. That's what the big negative I'll give. I'll give as a big negative for this game, or for this DLC in particular, is this pacing. The pacing of this is really like off-putting for me personally. It's because it's too slowed down, and it uses that stupid game trope where it takes away your powers. So you know you have to start over again, and some people might be okay with that, and in some contexts it's fine. Like it's an example, Assassin's Creed 1, when you get to play off the tutorial with Altair with all his abilities and whatnot, but then you get demoted, so you lose all your powers, you lose all your rank. It makes sense and it's okay. Whereas like with this, you don't really want to play a game like this that's like based on you being able to do all these different like things when it comes to like, you know, you're jumping, you're dodging, and now all of a sudden you can't do any of that. You're just basically just standing around getting hit because you can't use your magic to dodge because you don't have magic yet until later in the game. Like the first 30 minutes of the game is a tutorial damn near. So it's like, this is a DLC that takes place after the game, but you have us doing a tutorial. The hand holding in video games in general piss me off. I think less games should try to do less when it comes to hand holding, and you might learn to get the gamers will enjoy your games better. The best games that I see when it comes to this is Souls-like games and Souls-born games. They tend to just let you play the game, and as you play the game, you learn how to play it. Yes, there'll be like some prompts here and there to say, hey, this is how you parry, this is how you do that, but it's not holding your hand throughout the process. Every Souls-like game and every Souls-born game starts off pretty much the exact same way. You get thrown right into the fire, but the open mission is technically a tutorial mission, air quotes, a tutorial. Like I said, they just give you prompts. They don't tell you what to do, and they don't hold your hand. If you get fucked up, you get fucked up. You know, it's a learning experience, and I think more games should be like that. Stop with the hand holding. The hand holding can become frustrating, and also put people off. There's been games where I've stopped playing them because the opening seconds of the game just too much tutorial, too much hand holding. I'm just like, whatever, I'm done. I did a video recently about Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge actually allows you to skip the tutorial entirely. Like the game begins, you go through like a little running segment, and then you get a prompt on your screen that the tutorial is going to begin. You can leave out the tutorial and just play the game, ignore the tutorial entirely. But it's not to say that the game itself is like the DLC is bad, because once you get past like that opening segment of the game with the bad pacing and the hand holding tutorial, the game picks up. When a game is inside its flow of telling its story and you're involved in the combat, that's when it's at its best. I do think it's unfortunate that we won't see more from this game, because you know the studio who made it did get absorbed back into the Final Fantasy team, because the people who made this were initially a team who worked on Final Fantasy. They did Final Fantasy 15, which also has kind of a similar issue as this game when it comes to the fact that, you know, the combat is very, very good, but the open world is just too massive and too bloated. And I feel like, even though I personally really like 15, it's one of my favorite Final Fantasy games, I feel like a lot of people didn't like it, particularly because of, you know, all the open world nonsense that you were stuck doing, and, you know, experiencing this open world became like a part of the game's DNA, as in you're driving through in your car with your entire crew, going from place to place and place to take you minutes to get to, and that can be off-putting for a lot of players, and again, that adds to bad pacing. But I do think I would enjoy a sequel game. Like I personally, Square Enix, if you see this video, you won't, from nobody, but if you see this video, you should do a sequel game. You should downsize a little bit, aka make the world smaller, and don't push it, you know, to the extreme that if you pushed it, and just, you know, like I said before, when it came to Mortals of Avium, you know, it's sometimes good to have the shorter, you know, games that are like less in demand, you know, 40 video games that, you know, a developer makes while they're in between making games that are massive scale. You could have the same team of Final Fantasy developers work on a sequel game that's not as massive as this original game and not as massive or as, you know, high budget as Final Fantasy game, and just put it out that way as a sequel, because this game does have a community behind it. I've seen it on Reddit, I've seen it on social media. There's actually people who really enjoy this game, and when it comes out on Xbox, it might see another resurgence, because it is going to come out on Xbox probably like next year, depending on when you guys see these videos. The speculation is 2024. So this video might come out before 2024, might come out in 2024. Who knows? But you know, speculation is that it's going to come out on Xbox, and I do feel like if they put it in Game Pass, even higher chance of the game getting even a bigger fan base, because at that point, people are playing the game without having to buy into the game. You got to buy into it, then there's a higher chance that you won't get as many people playing it. If that makes sense, it should make sense. Tell me it makes sense. I'm joking when it comes to the whole makes sense part, but yeah. I think this DLC is fun. I think if you enjoyed the main game, you should check it out. If you didn't enjoy the main game, don't touch DLC, because it's more of what the full game was, but on a smaller scale. If you didn't like the main game, you won't like this. Play something else. You're allowed to do that. Like, understand that you don't have to play every single video game that comes out. You don't have to play every single game people talk about. Play what you want to play. Have fun what you want to have fun with. And that's it. And people who do enjoy this game, let them enjoy the game. You know, so many of y'all like to come out here and like, you should enjoy this game because this. Like, let people have fun with what they want to have fun with. Enjoy your game. Let's have fun with the games that we enjoy. This game is a good game. I mean, personally, it's probably one of the more surprising games of 2023 when it comes to Forspoken itself as a full game. When it comes to, like, I'm surprised that it was as good as it was. You know, it's probably the most underrated. Let's go with that. Instead of the most surprising game, it's the most underrated game of 2023. That's what I'm going to end this video with. I've been your boy, Honeymus Gamer Archer. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Y'all stay safe, become one another. I'm out of here. Deuces.